All right, and now it's time for our college football breakdown. All the top teams, looks like they held their spot for you, Justin. Why don't you break that down for us in your power rankings?
Same top 5. I'd like to have honorable mention of Stanford and Wisconsin. They're both right there. They could easily substitute it in, I think, with any of these teams. But right now I have at number 5 Oklahoma State. They won at Texas. Whedon and Blackman still look to be impressive. We got number 4 Boise State. First Mountain West Conference game, they absolutely destroyed Colorado State, and they're going to remain at number 4 for me right now. I think in 9 out of 10 times they might lose to one of these 3 teams, but in that one game, I think if it's just one game, I think they could pull off that upset. You never count Boise State out of the game, so I will keep them number 4 in my power rankings. Number 3, I like Oklahoma still. Offense and defense, they're a very balanced team, and their offense is very, very powerful. Number 2, we got LSU. They started out down this week, but they bounced back nicely as Jordan Jefferson looks to get more and more playing time. Then we got number 1, Alabama. Trent Richardson absolutely tore it up this weekend, and they will remain number 1 with that defense and the balance of Trent Richardson running the ball.
Yeah, like you said, those top 3 teams all look like they had a little bit of a test early on this week and end up rolling in 3 victories, and really they look like they're in a different class from every other team. The Heisman watch, a little bit of movement there for you, Josh. Tell us what's changed.
Yeah, definitely. Russell Wilson has slid down the board at number 3. He was, of course, up at number 1 after his big win against Nebraska, but when you only throw for 160 yards against Indiana and 1 score, I have to penalize you for that. And not so much penalizing, but Richardson and Luck had big weekends. Richardson averaged over 10 yards a carry against Ole Miss, had 4 touchdowns, 180 yards, and Andrew Luck on the year, 18 touchdowns, 3 picks. It's hard to argue with him at number 1.
Yeah, these 3 look like they've all kind of separated themselves from the rest of the pack right now. You can't really argue they're at the top of the list in terms of Heisman buzz, and Luck and Richardson had better weekends than Wilson, so I have to agree with that. Also, as far as the Big Ten power rankings go, a little bit of movement here this week. The leaders division, Wisconsin, was off, of course, but they are number 1 in the nation in points scored, number 3 in points against. They'll have their second real test, I should say, this week when they face the other top team. That's the Spartans, who I have on top of the Legends division after taking down Michigan, who was undefeated before that. That leaves Wisconsin as the only undefeated team as the Big Ten, and only Wisconsin, Penn State, and Michigan State are undefeated in Big Ten play. That's why I have Penn State at number 2. Illinois I still have above Ohio State because Ohio State still 1-2 in the Big Ten. They've made a lot of mistakes in important games like that loss against Nebraska. I'm still penalizing them for that. You can't be ahead 21 points and give up that. Illinois still could have a nice season, so I'm going to put them there. Purdue has shown a little bit in the last couple weeks. They've been better, but still struggling to find any wins. Indiana, just terrible. It's going to be a long season for them, as well as for the Gophers, who got to enjoy a week away from getting beaten down, but they'll stay at the bottom. Nebraska, I jumped over Michigan. I like Nebraska's playmakers more than Michigan. Michigan, finally, the decision-making and mistakes from Denard Robinson came back to bite them. Did only have 1 interception against Michigan State, but he has 10 on the season now, 11 touchdown passes. But I think his decision-making and his inability to throw the ball in important downs could cost them in the long run. The Hawkeyes having a lot of trouble defensively. They're number 4 in the Legends division. The Wildcats have lost 4 straight and are 0-3 in Big Ten play. They look to have a long season ahead of them. People thought with Dan Persa they could be a dark horse candidate, but that's how the Big Ten power rankings look. So we're going to go back now and make our picks. And now it's time to break down the games that are happening this weekend. We're going to give you our picks. We're going to start off with number 4, Oklahoma State, getting a test going at Missouri. What do you guys think?
I got 28-year-old Brandon Whedon. He is a man just like Gundy. I think they'll take out Mizzou.
Yeah, it's stat of the day, 28-year-old right there. Yeah, Missouri, they compete against good teams, but they don't win. I like Oklahoma State in this game.
For a while, I thought about going with Missouri. Those 3 losses were all to good teams on the road. But again, they haven't played anyone at home yet, and Oklahoma State played that they can play on the road by defeating that Texas team last week. I got to go with the Cowboys, just too much firepower on offense to go down this week. Number 20, Auburn, coming off a big win against Florida at number 1, LSU. Is this the week LSU goes down?
I don't think so. I was impressed by Auburn beating Florida. I know that Florida doesn't have John Brantley anymore, but that's still a good win against Florida in the SEC. But if you watch LSU play, there's just way too many athletes on defense, and the depth that they have is, besides Alabama, there's nothing else like it in the country. I think they have so much on both sides of the ball. They make Auburn one-dimensional right away and get the win.
Yeah, Auburn's offense is going to be interesting to see how they compare against the LSU defense. I think they can put up a few points. I mean, by a few, I mean, but maybe 14, 21, somewhere around there. Not enough to beat LSU. I look for LSU to get Jordan Jefferson the ball even more.
Yeah, LSU does give up some yards, and they gave up over 20 points to Oregon and West Virginia, but those are very high-powered offenses. We saw Auburn get slowed down quite a bit against Florida. LSU's defense is Florida times 5 pretty much, and they make huge plays on defense and special teams that make the difference in the game. And Jordan Jefferson is starting to make an impact on that offense and make them a lot more dynamic and offensive team. I think LSU rolls pretty easily at home this week. A game that is pretty tough for me to pick. I've been going back and forth on it. USC travels to Notre Dame. The winner of this game for sure will be in the top 25. Big rivalry matchup. Who do you guys have in this one?
In this one, I think Matt Barkley is going to put up numbers. I think USC is going to move the ball up and down because Notre Dame's corners, as we've seen, they're not very good. They've been tested and they have yards put up against them. But at the same time, Notre Dame's offense is above and beyond USC's, I believe. And I think Notre Dame's going to win this game. It's going to be back and forth, but I like Notre Dame.
Yeah, like you, Kyle, I struggled picking this one too because Matt Barkley is so efficient on offense. But if you look at USC's games this year, they've given up a lot of points to some really lowly teams, underachieving teams. Arizona a few weeks ago put up over 40 points against them. And Notre Dame's offense, I mean, is very, very potent. I think that Notre Dame gets the win at home.
I would like to go with Notre Dame a little bit, but I'm going to disagree with you guys. I'm going to take USC for kind of the same points that you guys made. Matt Barkley, just too efficient on offense. Robert Woods is too good of a wide receiver. Those Notre Dame corners have shown this year that they have trouble defending a really good wide receiver. I think USC is going to be more pumped up to play this game than they have any other one all year. Like we mentioned at the beginning of the year, they can't go to the Pac-12 title game. This is one of their biggest games of the year. I think they go into South Bend and steal a big win. Now we're going to go to what's been dubbed the game of the week. Number 6 Wisconsin at number 16 Michigan State. This could be the game that takes Wisconsin's national title hopes away. The schedule gets a little bit easier after this. Do you think Michigan State's able to do it?
I don't think so. I mean, it's Wisconsin's first true road test, but they've won by 30 points in every single game they've played so far. And Russell Wilson is the real deal. I think that this could kind of be like the Nebraska game, a way to launch that Heisman campaign. Michigan State is too Jekyll and Hyde for me. I mean, you see them play against Michigan and look so good, and then Ohio State looks so bad. I'll take Bucky and the Badgers.
I think this is a payback game from last year's loss. I think Wisconsin wins this game, and we're going to see just how good they are. If they roll against Michigan State, maybe they get some more national people start looking at them as a national title contender. I think Wisconsin rolls in this game.
Yeah, I really want to see how Wisconsin comes out against a team that's more on their level and a team that they lost to last year. The difference from last year's game, Russell Wilson, of course, and Michigan State's pass rush has been very good this year. I think that's really a matchup to watch. But I think Russell Wilson just has enough escapability and playmaking in him to avoid the rush and lead Wisconsin to a win. But I think it is within 2 scores. They're not going to win by 30 points this one. It'll be a good game, I'm pretty sure. But now we're going to go with Indiana at Iowa. Indiana's been a team that's given Iowa some trouble in the last couple years. A couple games they definitely could have won against Iowa 2 years ago, the 5-interception game where we needed a huge comeback. And then last year, the dropped touchdown catch by an Indiana receiver really is how Iowa held on. Do you think this game is anywhere like those last couple?
In this one, I'll take Iowa. They've got to beat Indiana. Indiana's not a great football team, but they play well against Iowa. Iowa, homecoming, got to win this game.
Yeah, and like you said, we were dropped pass away in Bloomington from losing that game last year, and they have struggled against Indiana in the past. And I'm wondering if kind of the after effects of a big Northwestern win, obviously we talked about the card stunts. This is a young team. I don't know how focused they'll be, so I think Indiana could hang around for a little bit longer than we're going to be comfortable with, but ultimately I'll take Iowa.
Yeah, the Hoosiers just haven't had a quarterback all season long. Between Wright Baker and Dusty Keel, they've been fluctuating back and forth. Keel missed last week with an ankle injury, but if he plays, I think they're still going to lose by probably 13 points. If Wright Baker plays, then it's probably going to be a 21-point victory for Iowa. But they've ran over 40 times the last 2 weeks, despite getting blown out in those games. Really, it shows a complete lack of confidence in their quarterbacks. It's going to be interesting to see if Iowa can stop the running game. They had over 100 yards rushing against Wisconsin last week, even though they were blown out. Who are some players that you guys are going to be watching for in this game from Iowa?
I'm looking for James Vandenberg. I think this is the type of game that if you want to be an elite Big Ten quarterback, you got to put away the teams that you should beat. And Vandenberg needs to throw early, throw often, and I think that they'll get the win.
I'm going to look at Marcus Coker. This was a preseason All Big Ten performer. I think he's been on track the last couple of games. I looked him to keep it up with over 100 yards.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the defensive side. I'm going to go with Sean Prater. I think he's going to get matched up with Belcher quite a bit. It's going to be his job to shut down their number one receiver and prevent the big plays and make a few on defense. Like you mentioned earlier, Josh, Iowa needs to get a little bit more aggressive on defense. Prater, one of the leaders on that defense, has to start making plays for them. I look for him to do it this week. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's Incompetent Sports Talk. For Josh Bolander and Justin Bucklin, I'm Kyle Hughes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.